already started. That is the beginning of his problem. But we should not refute the fact that there are problems that were raised against Gachagua, President Rigiji, especially the issue of money, corruption, investments, buying of hotels and other things. Those things seem to be genuine, but Ruto could have done something to protect him. Failure to protect Gachagua, it means Ruto is not very far away, he's going to follow suit. But whether it is through Parliament...
Okay. So you're saying...
Acha Justice kidogo amalize. Maliza res.
So what I'm saying is that what is happening is that Gachagua is falling the cliff, but at the same time he is catching the leg of Ruto. So I believe that very soon they will follow each other on that particular cliff, because Ruto amefanya makosa too, because he did not protect his president, his deputy president, because this particular post, as you can see, is like co-joined twins. If you kill one, all of you will die. Ruto may not die today, but maybe in 2027 he may die if he cannot die before 2027. So what I'm saying is that he has created problems for his own safety, problems for his own leadership, because what he did was not expected. Yes, we know that Rigiji is a thief, is a problem, but he should have done something to protect this person by all means, like what Uhuru did to him. So someone wanted to ask questions. I think I may stop here unless there are questions someone wanted to ask. Thank you.
Yeah, so Justice, you had a point of order. Kindly, if you want to have a point of order, inua tu mkono hivi, so that we don't have a heckling.
I would definitely raise my hand. I think the presenter simply completely went against the movement. The point of order on my part is that his admission that, yes, he agrees that Gachagua has a problem, need to be impeached, but Ruto should have protected him. That is the impunity of the greatest statement I've ever heard. And you're talking about that if there are grounds, sufficient grounds that he should be impeached, nobody should protect anybody. So you're saying that he actually meets the criteria to be impeached, but needed to be protected? Is that your argument? That's the point. I really you threw me off on that, because you're arguing that the reason as to why Ruto wasn't impeached is because he actually met criteria to be impeached, but was protected by Ruto. We need to be clear on this impeachment issue so that we don't confuse between what we feel like this person should not hold office, but not by reason of impeachment. That's the point that I thought was a little, and you have advanced it like quite a bit in your presentation.
Yes, what I'm saying is that politics is a dead game. It is not a fair game like the way you are taking it. Sometimes in politics, you need to protect a devil for you to advance to the next step. Look at what happened. Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto killed Kenyans during that particular post-election violence, but they were protected by politics for them to become deputy president and president. So that is the nature of politics. Politics is not there to talk about the clear justice. It is there to actually try to protect the devil justice. So what we are saying is that, yes, Gachagua had a problem, but Ruto was the last man to protect him. He was able to do that, but it appears as if he wanted him to fall to the what? To the trap, not knowing that the way Gachagua is falling is the same way Ruto is going to fall. So what we are saying is that we are agreeing together that, yes, Gachagua was bad, but this particular kind of impeachment is bringing darkness into his politics, because we don't know what is going to happen. Ruto is also not clean. I think you should know that. That is the same situation that is actually taking place. So for him to remain in power a bit without problems or commotion, he was supposed to protect the Mulima a bit. So the way he is touching Gachagua is touching the Mulima, which is going to be a difficult thing in his politics. So just watch the space and see how things are going to work out. Gachagua is going to go home, but Ruto already he has soiled his image within the Mulima people, and possibly he may not reach this 2000 and what? 27, or he may reach there, but it may be difficult for him to what? To pass through. So just watch the space. But I'm not saying Gachagua was right, he was wrong. But genuinely, Ruto was supposed to call him down, stop the impeachment, and then sort their house in order secretly. Possibly everything could be okay with him. Thank you.
Hi, I don't want to let it roll around before we go to all things and then Gimuka. Because the microphone, if you feel like, if you see that I've not seen your request, kindly refresh and come back to the mic. This is Home Run Pipi. All things, how are you? Nungari, unmute your mic if you can. Okay, Gimuka, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Professor.
Okay, talk to me.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for the opportunity and wonderful to have you all, Wakenya, Wenzangu. I think maybe to go directly to my point, whether successfully Rigathi is impeached or he is not, which both at this point are a possibility, I think we are at a very interesting state as a nation and as a people, especially as the people of Kenya. From my own perspective, I believe, or from what I observe, that all this is drama, and it is concealing things that actually are the main issues that we have as a country that we should address, including even dividing the movement and ruling. And I see a group of people that would go to all extents to ensure that they maintain the status quo. Okay, so they would even, the policy, not policy, but as they say, if you can't beat them, join them, which I believe is something they did at a very early stage, and a good part of the nation has fallen for it. This is again my personal opinion. One of the greatest voices that is really coming up for me, I think it's a hoax, still the government. And I know they would go to all extents to just be at a point where they can control the masses. So I see all this drama around the impeachment and others like the abductions and the arrests. At where we are as a country right now, when you hear somebody is abducted or arrested, somehow there's a feeling of those are our people. Those are people for the people, And when people are being treated nicely, people are enjoying, we quickly associate them with, those are the people in government. So I see a serious reverse psychology that is happening, and it is in a bid to kind of cleanse the system or buy time or waste time so that things pass. I was so saddened, Banze, the other day on a message, you've been moved to chief and all this, and I don't know what else, is going to happen while we are debating all this stuff. The reality is, if Rigathi is successfully impeached, he's been sacrificed, and of course we see the disadvantages of that. Somebody said earlier, he's going home with the monies, he's going home with all those things. Now, if he's not impeached again, then the game plan still works for them, because the way they work is that the system doesn't care about people. It's about the common goal, the interests of the system. So the big question is really, who are we dealing with? What are we dealing with? What's the monster that we are dealing with? And I believe what we have as a country today, which maybe now brings me to my landing point and my call to all of us to be very alert and vigilant. If you have a voice, those of us who are good legally and everything, let's not assume that so-and-so is speaking for us. If you know how to do what needs to be done so that things are corrected, let's educate ourselves and do the right things, because these guys are hell-bent to protect their interests at whatever cost. If it will mean let them join us and be the Gen Z voice that we are hearing, they will do it. They will do it. They will do it. And which I believe kidogo ni kama they have succeeded. I mean, the rate at which now the people who really started the revolution and stuff, they're being knocked down left, right, and center. And like a particular voice is rising like it's the voice for the Gen Zs, never really speaking concerning the other larger team and all that. Like it's seemingly for the people, for the cause, but also like a stumbling block at the same time for the same cause. And I believe all these things are playing together. All these things are playing together to waste the people's time, to conceal what is really happening. And at the end of the day, these people gain. I mean, if Rigathi goes home and he goes home with his millions, I mean, he has nothing to lose, And what if he's also connected with other things? The other thing that I wanted to bring up was, I think there's a greater hand than what we see. All this is, I would say, is my conspiracy. A conspiracy would only need to be proven wrong, So I think there's like a bigger hand somewhere, a greater interest that is being served by, I would call it, for lack of better words, a greedy sort of leadership that would that do not really care for the livelihoods of the wananchi, and so they are so quick to serve their masters. I wonder, our minerals, the great value that we have as a country, people out there know how wealthy we are, and it's like we don't even know how wealthy we are ourselves, And you see how they have really serious interests in our lands, in agriculture, and all these things, these sort of controls and stuff. I wonder, could these people be, really pushing stuff? I wonder who benefits. Is that my time out?
Yeah, you can land in 1 minute. Touch and quick, come away. 1 minute.
Thank you. I wonder who benefits the most with something like an extension of a change from 5 years to 7 years. I mean, we've suffered with regimes that 5 years. How much more would we in regimes of 7 years? And the leadership, they don't suffer. It's the people that suffer. And while we suffer and they gain, it's actually at our own expense, at someone's gain that we do not know who they really are. So I think it's a call for us. They say, do not awake the sleeping giant, but it's like the sleeping giant is waking up. Africa is rising, Africa is waking up, and it's like they're in a rush, So maybe we can look at that sort of bigger picture and be vigilant for ourselves as a people. Do not assume. Do not quickly join huyu ni wetu, sijui, sorry to say, but Morara ni wetu and all this. Man, if you agree on a few things, agree on those things from, informed points of view. If you guys are going to court, maybe to say, let us all go there. Let us do the right things. Let us follow the procedures. Because these guys, they don't respect the constitution, at least to the extent that tunajua. And they can also use it to their advantage, like they have used it right now. It's for their convenience of sorts. So my call to you all, as you have always been, as we have always been, let's continue to be vigilant. These guys would love it when we are weakened, when we are divided. That's where they thrive. One thing they know, if we are united and we have over solid front and we are determined to a cause, there's no force that is greater. The greatest forces in this world is the people, fire, and water. If those are things you can't go again. Sorry, I think let me just close up that. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you for that, Gimuka. We'll be going back to you guys in a few, but I want also to hear from the new speakers in the form of Nyaradue, Ian, and Paul. Nyaradue, how are you doing?
I'm okay, Peter. Today I'm really mad. Today I'm really breathing fire. I am so disappointed with this parliament because I want us as Kenyans to first look at the precedents we are creating for the country and for our constitution. These constitutional offices are not jokes. They are put in our constitution for a reason. But what we have done today, trust me, with this Kenya of today, tomorrow, A governor will sleep and dream that his or her deputy is strangling her in the dream. Trust me, the deputy will be impeached. And therefore, we are creating new offices called use and dump. These deputy offices in Kenya are constitutional and must be respected. You people, you will agree with me today. It is obvious that the political class have the luxury to prioritize their fights over our challenges as a people. And you know, this arrogance to the people is not going to end well. If our economic situation is not addressed, we are not only heading to economic collapse as a country, but we are also going to heading towards collapse of law and order as witnessed today. And I plead with all of us in here, those who love this country, we must continue pressing for the departure of this government at the earliest opportunity. And as a country, by the way, I don't like Gachagua. I don't like him. The way he's, when he got in office, his utterances were just off for me. But truth be told, as a country, we need to develop a culture of fairness and justice, regardless of the subject under scrutiny. From the allegations, the politicians or that Kitui MP brought, if you look at, if we were offering honest judgment, then surely those are not impeachable offenses, if you ask me. I stand guided, I stand corrected, but I feel whatever the 11 were not really impeachable, because for me, they sounded more like gossip, according to how Gachagua substantiated his evidence vis-a-vis the MP. And look at the way the speaker behaved. Oh God, the speaker was openly biased. And by the way, he erred by allowing MPs to act just like some lynch mob. They engaged in merciless character assassination against the DP on issues that were not even part of the motion. The DP in himself had no mechanism or even opportunity to respond to this allegation. And so for me, I felt this was more of character assassination of our DP. And therefore, as I conclude, I feel that as a people, let us send this government home as early as yesterday. We cannot continue like this, and this disregard of the Constitution is going to hurt us more, because we are going to devolve, dictatorship from the national level to the county level. That is to say, we are removing leaders from human to animals. I rest my case. Thank you, Pipita.
All right. Thank you, Nyaradue. You kept it under 4 minutes. That is commendable. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Home Run PP. It comes to you each and every weekday from 4 p.m. all the way to 9 p.m. East African time. But for the past 2 days, that is yesterday and today, we have been at the National Assembly, of course, following up on the impeachment motion against Rigathi Gachagua today. And we have been here for a long time. And yesterday we were just preparing for it, and we ended it at midnight. Hey, Manieka high press. What am I paying for, guys? Are you trying to tell me something? Anyway, today we're also trying to at least get more opinion and, of course, more people speaking to us. What do you feel about that impeachment? Does it mean something to us? And, of course, what does it open to us? Of course, our show is supported by you, the listener. If you like what I'm doing, there's a tip to line 0721948229 is the number where you drop in your support. Ian Joroge, how are you doing? Ian, are you there?
Pipita?
Yes.
Can you hear me? First of all, I want to greet my colleagues there. Then I appreciate my previous speaker, that is Nyaradue, for her remarks. Then, for this motion about impeachment, I don't, sijapendelea kwangu. For those 11 grounds zenye amemwekea hapo, mimi sijaona kitu yenye amefanya ati inaweza fanya impeachiwe. Then for the Speaker of the National Assembly, that is Moses Wetangula, hapa mimi pia nimeona hajafanya kweli. Yaani hakuna venye wewe unaweza kuwa judge lakini you are celebrating your partner to be impeached. Then kuna huu jamaa anaitwa aje? Huu previous speaker alikuwa anaitwa nani? Let me confirm here. Gimuka amefanya remarks zingine hapo ati he's about the impeachment because Gachagua anaongea mambo ya mountain. Hiyo ni sawa, hata yeye pipita for your correction to this. Kama yeye maybe uko leader mahali fulani, so you have the right to kutetea watu wako, si ndio? Pipita.
Yeah, but sasa unajua wewe ni deputy president, unafaa utetee the whole country. Ama mimi nafikiria aje? Wewe ukikuwa deputy president, you're not a deputy president from where you come from. Ama ungekuwa tu MP.
Yeah.
Ama unaniambia ni?
Yeah, sikatai, lakini unajua Gachagua alisema hapo jana, I think I followed that interview, akasema yeye si ati anatetea Mount Kenya juu ni president, ni deputy president wa Mount Kenya. Hapana, yeye anatetea watu, kila mtu yani. Lakini sasa hii impeachment mimi kwangu, for example huyo jamaa anaitwa Motuse, mpaka vitu zingine naona anakorektiwa hapo, anaambiwa sijui shamba ilikuwa mahali fulani. For me, I want to congratulate the deputy president. Ameonyeshana yeye ni mtu mwenye yani ako na confidence yake ya kuongea. Lakini wengine hapo wanastuka. Why are MPs anauliza president aongezee security? Then they are thinking they are doing the right thing. That means hakuna kitu wanafanya chenye wanaona ni kizuri kwa Kenya ama kwa Mkenya mwenzake. Thank you for your time. Mimi sina mambo mingi.
Asante Ian kwa hiyo submission yako. Wewe unajua kidogo nitoe manyaunyo, ungesikia tu hapo. Yeah. Unajua hawezi sema eti deputy president ni wa Mrima peke yake.
Bona nipewe nyaunyo pipita.
Kwa sababu unajua deputy president according to the constitution is the second in command in the country and he serves the whole country. Sawa.
The other correction nyingine ungenipigia
hiyo peke yake.
Ninasikia ungenipigia
hiyo peke yake.
Sawa. Lakini tunastahili kuwa united hata kama mambo ya impeachment yanaendelea. Hiyo haituhusu sasa sana. Wacha waendelee na venye nataka.
Hai, asante sana Ian for your submission. Wacha tusikia kutoka kwa Paul Ngunyi. How are you doing, Paul?
I'm fine.
Karibu kwenye show. Tuombe.
Kwanza, the entire process is political. There's nothing like, and maybe let me remind you, in as much as unasema this seat, the deputy president represents the entire nation. Let me remind you, when these guys walikuwa wanatafuta the running mate, that is the Ruto and the Raila and the rest, their mouth was on the Mount Kenya. Walikuwa wanajua without the Mount Kenya votes hawagewin. So number one, ndo maana
Paul, you have muted your mic, bwana.
Sorry. So number one, that's why Martha Karua, hata kama hakuna kura alikuwa analeta, they had to put her sababu no Mount Kenya. So this thing political, it's all about ethnicity. Now we are the ones who are supposed to change it, and that's why ukiona these guys, the way the guy is talking, ndivyo walikuwa wanaongea hata before. Another issue ni issue ya Gladys Sholei, yeah? You see, the same guy who is calling Gachagua corrupt is the same guy mwenye alimrepresent kwa case ya corruption ile ya 200 million. So these guys are not being serious. They are not being genuine. The entire process was just shambolic. Yani hakukuwa na
Unmute it, Bwana Paul.
Paul, tengeneza simu bwana.
Paul, kwani ana mute mic?
Ana mute kwa nini? Kwani anaogopa?
All right, I don't think Paul Abu, refresh your microphone and talk to us. Brian King, habari.
Poa sana.
Maoni yako ni gani?
Mimi venye wamefanya parliament leo, wamefanya ujinga kabisa. Unajua kuchuja mtu, hao watu walikuwa wote pamoja. Alafu pia unaona ni kama Rigathi alikuwa anajaribu kutetea upande wa Mountain. Maana ukiangalia ma-CEO wengi wa Kenya sasa, ukianza kwa Port wapi, Ruto ameweka watu wake. So Rigathi ni kama alikuwa anaona huyu jamaa anataka kunionyesha mimi unyonge. Na wakati wakiomba kura walikuwa ni kama kwa maoni yake alikuwa anaona itakuwa 50-50. Labda Mountain 50 na uko 50. So baadaye Ruto anataka sasa kumuonyesha unyonge. But vile ameenda ni sawa, wacha aende. Si tubaki tunaongoja 2027 tutafanya chini.
Kwani nini inaendelea? Ama umemaliza Brian? Jamani, hey.
This is the home run with PP.
Naona Steve Juma ameinua mkono juu. Let's hear from Steve Juma, then all things. Tusikie kutoka kwa all things. Steve, how are you doing?
Thank you bro. Unajua nilikuwa nasikia huyo jamaa akiongea, huyo brother hapo. Unajua sasa tuko Kenya, labda ashakuwa abducted, so tunaomba ako safe. Okay, I'm not a happy man this evening, and in fact I began to be very worse from yesterday. Things are not adding up in this country. Things are not really working for us, especially Kenyans who send their representative to the August House to represent their views or to deliberate and debate on their issues. Parliamentarians have shown us that their interest comes first, their ego comes first. Whoever they are playing their tune comes first. In fact, Parliament works for the executive, not Kenyans. Kenyans are on their own. Our agenda are not pursued in the Parliament. I don't know whether impeachment of Rigiji has already sorted issues to do with the health. Now, I don't know whether it has sorted issues to do with the school fees, colleges. I don't know. But you could see the zeal, the passion, the drive, the ego, the attendance. And the other time when we were dying on the street, some politicians were not in Parliament for their obvious reasons. Now, impeaching Rigiji as if Rigiji is a head of state. I hear people talk, they're trying to pull issues to do with the women. Mara Rigiji has no respect to women. Come on, when I'm saying this, I'm not saying this to defend Rigiji. I want Ruto out. Once Ruto is out, Rigiji is automatically out. We can't blame Rigiji as if he's the problem in our country. He's not. A brother of mine has just shared his view here. Rigiji speaks the way he said it even during campaign. And we cannot say that Rigiji has acquired wealth through proxies, through what? Kwani nani ako kwa hiyo serikali ambaye si mwizi? Nani hajaiba kwa hiyo serikali? Ruto akona nini sahi? So then you say Rigiji is tribal. Ebu chukua hiyo kiti ya deputy president, si Waindi pia ni wa Kenya. Wamekuwa registered kama Kenyan sahi. The Nubians, wengine wanaitwa kina nani, wale wa Mozambique ama Zimbabwe. Someone can stand being corrected. Ama aenda peleka pale kwa minority kama Pokomo pale. Pea deputy ni Mpokomo. Usikie hiyo Mount Kenya italipuka ama italipuka. If you mean Kenyans are not tribal. Look at Minister of Energy, for example, and Petroleum. Hiyo KPC, ni wakina nani wako hapo kama si wakale wote? Na sisi tunapangiwa kwenda kuosha wazee, sijui wapi, Saudi Arabia, sijui wapi. Na pia ni story tu za jaba. Yaani unadanganywa, hiyo kudanganywa bado pia ni mchezo tu. Yaani huwezi amini rais anasemanga ukweli saa ngapi. Alafu saa hii MPs mpaka opposition ambao pia siku hizi si opposition, yaani watu wamekaa tu kama watoto tu wana celebrate. Now Peter, this is something I really want you to help me champion for. I just think that is high time all those who are working for government, I've said this in other forums, all those civil servants and state officers on that matter should go to, or when they are sick, they should go to public hospitals. Kama we ni governor, aende Mama Lucy. Asiende Aga Khan. We can't pay you through our taxes, give you a good medical cover. Wewe ukiwa mgonjwa wewe unaenda wapi? Aga Khan, wewe unaenda kwa those high-end hospitals, alafu kwa the media unatupigia stories za jaba vile you've taken drugs to Mama Lucy, umepeleka nini Mbagathi, madaktari umepeleka, na wewe mwenyewe hujai kanyaga hizo vitu, hujai kuwa admitted kwa hizo vitu ambazo ziko death trap. We need to have a bill or a law that now compels all state officers and civil servants. Because there's no way you tell me you work for the government to ensure that the facility, you put up the infrastructure of the government. Somebody works for the Ministry of Health. Lakini hajaingia kwa hospitali ya public hiyo anafanyia kazi. Someone works for the Ministry of Education. But they have never gone to. These are
continuous.
Yes.
Continue. That was someone else. Continue.
Thank you. Someone works for the Ministry of Health, bro. Lakini huyu mtu hajawahi enda hata kwa hospitali ya nini ya serikali. Haijui. Mtu anafanya kwa Ministry of Education, ambao wanapanga vile watoto wenyu wanasoma, wanafanya nini, lakini yeye watoto wake wamepelekwa Australia. Anaongea vitu tu ambaye anasoma kwa gazeti. Ndiye anajibu nayo watu. Alafu akienda pale sisi tunapiga makofi. Unapiga makofi, umetozwa ushuru, alafu mtu anakuja kukufungulia barabara, wewe unapiga makofi na pesa ni yako. Who are we and where are we? So I think this one will bring equity. Equity. Asijui kama mimi ndio najielewa mwenyewe. Wewe uandikwe na serikali, upewe pesa, unapata mshahara ya serikali, alafu hapo serikali imekupatia medical cover. Hii medical cover, ukiwa mgonjwa unapeleka pesa kwa private sector, Aga Khan, unaipeleka sijui wapi. Si upeleke hii pesa basi kwa serikali, ndio hiyo pesa pia ipatikane, izidi kutengeneza hiyo hospitali. Na pia sasa ukienda kwa hiyo hospitali ya nini ya serikali ambayo unaifanyia kazi, ndio utajua ile vitu ambayo haiko kule. Uende pale udungwe tu maji, upewe Panadol ama Brufen, wewe pia uone kitu watu wanafanya. Inakuwa ni process kubwa sana. Kama wewe ni ofisa wa serikali na unataka kuwa moved from a public hospital to a private for further treatment, iwe ni kibarua ya kuandika mafomu kama zile za insurance, wewe unaambiwa bado wanasubiri approval, ubaki hapo bado kama bado tunasubiri approval. That is when these people will learn. Lakini kama saa hii mpaka marafiki zangu wabunge mimi najua, mpaka ninawaambia buda, hii ni mbaya. Jamaa anasema tu yes. Ni kama Rigiji ndio issue yetu Kenya hii. Mimi ukiniuliza, Rigiji hana makosa. No one is not tribal. Sorry, I'm a Luo, and it's the wrong thing here to say in such forums. But I will defend my Luo akiwa shida sana. I'm first an African, I go to a Kenyan, from Kenyan I will go back to my Luo, back to my wherever charity begins at home. That is for nature of human being. You will defend your people first. But he only failed to know that he's a public figure. Angepunguza maneno fulani. But all said and done, sisi tuko, mimi nataka Ruto atoke like yesterday. I am sick and tired, but we pray God is on our side. Lakini na wabunge tuwapatie mtihani. Kujeni na mabili sahi tupeleke pale. Mtu tu amuke tu na mabili na tupeleke pale, watu wastie time tuwasalamie. That is all.
I don't think there's anything you're going to get from that bunge, from what I've seen. Yeah, I don't think there's anything you're going to get from that bunge. It is the hope that kills. All things, Nungari, habari yako?
Hi, Pipita. Thank you for the opportunity. Nimekuwa na shida ya mic, but I think sahi mnanisikia.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Let me just give my 2 cents about this whole circus that's going on in our country right now. First of all, I'm very, very, very disappointed in the way things are. Just like any other Kenyan, our country, we gave our country to the dogs. And now we are here, like we look stranded and we look lost. But this is what I would like to say. I'm hearing people talking. People are bitter. People are educated. People are they have an understanding of what's going on. But what lacks is an agenda to take people back to the streets, because everybody's in pain. And the only thing that's going to save us is the streets. We can come to spaces, we rant. We can go to, in every space that comes, you hear people talking, how they're disappointed, how they're suffering. I know someone who, at the beginning of this regime, had like 8 matatus. And as we speak right now, amebaki na matatu 3 kwa barabara. That's how bad it's getting. Hata anashindwa familia atalisha na nini. But now, as much as we are ranting, issue ya Rigiji, that's not our fight. That's not our fight. So we should be focusing on ourselves. Today we have learned something. Hawa watu leo walikuwa wamejaa parliament, meaning when they have something that favors them, they can work. They can work day and night to make and within a very short time. Umeona vile issue ya Gachagua imekuwa so rushed, because there are people, they are benefiting from the outcome, or whatever, whether they're trying to divide us, whether they're trying to get someone who is not going to disagree with Ruto, because Rigiji is going to speak his mind. Whether Ruto itamfurahisha ma itamfurahisha, that's for a fact. So ule mtu mwenye ataekwa hapo anafaa aingie akijua he was not chosen by the people, because Rigiji alikuwa kwa ballot, and the reason why most people, especially from the mountain, while they vote for this regime, it was because Rigiji with wanajua history alikuwa Dio Nyeri and the brother kuna history kubwa yao people from Nyeri and now watu wanajua that, so ndio maana people cast that vote. So ni sawa wanaweza mseparate, and that is their business and whatever they are benefiting from that. But why are people not coming out to address like the real issues? To focus on what this parliament is doing. Whatever they're doing, clearly it's not for us. But what do we want as a people? What do we want? First of all, this parliament ingeenda nyumbani kitambo sana. Ile wakati tulianza maandamano, that was the chance we had. We had a very good chance to send them home. Because after ile maandamano ya 25th, na watu wakakuja wakasema dissolve cabinet iende home. The next thing we should have done was to push for dissolve parliament. But hiyo imepita. Why can't the movement now move to having an IEBC, to having the parliament set up an IEBC for us? Because bila the parliament, honestly, the IEBC kama haijakuwa set up, it's going to be hard to dissolve the parliament. According to our constitution, that's going to be hard. It's not going to be hard. It's going to be impossible. Let me say impossible. So why are people not pushing for the IEBC? Because that's the only thing that's going to save us. And if we don't take action, then tutakuwa hapa space mpaka God knows when. Because I can assure you, the same way today, not today, this whole week wamekuwa like about Gachagua, they already have a motion in parliament to extend their time from 5 years to 7 years. So what makes you think that's not going to happen in the next 1 week? Na tuko hapa, we are very, very comfortable. We are very comfortable tukisema, oh, no, ati Mungu atatusaidia. Let me tell you, if we don't take action ourselves, hey, tutaona kivumbi, because at year 2027, there will not be an election. I can assure you of that. And people, until watu wasikie wako uncomfortable enough, kwa sababu what this government is doing, it's pushing our limits. Waone how far we can go. Wanajua tutakuja to run space, and there is really nothing much we can do about it. So I want everybody up at Quay space to go around to 200 and almost 300 people. So why can't you start wewe mwenyewe? And kama unajua some bigwig, why can't you help us push the agenda to have an IEBC in place? Because leo tumeona these people can work, and they can work fast. But until tuwapush vile tuliwapush year 27 and the cabinet was dissolved, the same way we can push them to have our agendas set on the table, discussed, and wapitishe vile tunataka, kwa sababu hawaizi pitisha bila sisi kuwapush. That is one thing for a fact. Also, I don't know, we should make the ground so hostile for them. I don't know why we are making them have peace. It should be made so hostile that these people know that hatutaki mchezo. Why are we making them, mtu anaenda analala vizuri inafika asubuhi, alafu anaenda parliament kuanza kufanya vituko huko? Why are we letting, yani zile mashida zenye tuko nazo sisi ndio tunasikia uchungu, but wao wanaenda huko wanaiba pesa, wanafanya nini, and we are making them feel so comfortable. That should not be happening. We should not let that happen for another day. And starting tomorrow, not even starting tomorrow, starting today, we should start pushing for an IEBC immediately. And immediately that IEBC is set up, that parliament should go home immediately. It should be dissolved immediately. Because our watu leo tumeona what they can do. That means starting tomorrow, a motion is already in place to extend their term. So that means 2027, hakuna election tunaenda kufanya. So it's either we fight back, ama we continue ranting on these spaces until there is really nothing much we can do about it. So it's either now or right now. And hizi zingine wanafanya, hizo ni side
1 minute.
Okay, acha namalizia. Hizo zingine ni side shows. Na the agenda right now, tunafaa kuwa na a very clear agenda. We want an IEBC in place, period. Tukipata IEBC, that is it. And until that happens, we should not let these people rest. Whether it's your area MP, especially your area MP, we are in different places as we speak. We should not let these people rest. We elected them. Wanafaa wajue sisi ndio wanafanya kazi. And if you're comfortable with what is going on, wacha tuendelee kukua tu hivyo, kwa sababu asiwezi fanya kazi peke yangu, huwezi fanya peke yako. What they're trying to do is to divide us. But if we unite once again, I know this is going to be possible. This is going to be, usisikize hizo side show zao, au sijui, mnaelewa what's going on right now. But if we focus on IEBC, I can assure you in the next 1 month, kutakuwa na change. But wewe, mimi, tuanze kupush mambo ya IEBC, please, I am begging you. Can we get this done? IEBC. Sahi hakufai kuwa na talk ingine until an IEBC is set in place. Those are my sentiments. Thank you, Pipita, for hosting the space today. And okay, nita drop to nisikize what people have to say, but I want you, please, to push hii agenda ya IEBC. Hizo
All
vitu
right.
zingine.
Okay, thank you for that. And of course, I think you can see that list that I put out I'm coming up with a new focused list of points to address. And of course, number one on that is the reconstitution of IEBC. Number 2 is shift. Number 3 is a Adani airport takeover. Yeah, so those are the things that I have on my focused list right now. Request microphone. If you have not seen me accept your mic, the high chances are I have not seen it. I am not censoring you. Hi, we are on the final hour of Home Run with PP. These 2 days have been very heavy for me, but tomorrow we'll be back on normal programming at 4 p.m. East African time. Nimesikia fatigue na nusu. But we still have 1 hour to the top, to midnight, where we'll end it for today. So request the microphone and let me hear from you. Of course, if you are joining us, the real Joe, habari yako?
I'm very good, Pipita.
I
How
am
are
well,
you?
bro.
Okay, thank you for the mic. I wish to, I've heard sentiments from previous speakers. I wish to beseech the other speakers who have just spoken and are saying they are sad about the current state of affairs and the impeachment of the deputy president. I wish to beseech them and ask them to be happy instead of being sad. Let's stop this narrative of political process and whatever any other process that we'll ever talk about. That is a narrative, an ideology, and I stand corrected. But what is really politics? Politics is basically activities that relate to matters governance. I mean, that is just the basic definition of politics. So anything to do with governance is politics in itself. But we don't have to wish away everything and say that is a political process. Removal of the deputy president is a constitutional process. It is there in our constitution under Article 150, and it is clearly stipulated on grounds which a deputy president can be removed. But I also understand that we are trying to look at the manner in which he's being impeached. And I always say, whenever your enemies are fighting, don't try to strengthen either of them. Let them slaughter each other, let them kill each other, let them weaken each other. They are both our enemies, aren't they? We want both of them to go, don't we? That is what we want. If Rigathi goes, we are left with one person to deal with. Of course, they are going to appoint a new person. But let me tell you one thing. It is very, very important and fundamental that we allow this process to continue. And I'm very happy that the impeachment has gone through. Even though it is also such a circus that someone like Didmas Baraza, who is facing murder charges, corruption charges, can say that the deputy president has grossly violated the constitution. It's laughable. I really don't care about that. My main actually idea is the removal of deputy president has occurred. It has occurred. Has he not violated the constitution? He has. I mean, we don't need 11 grounds to impeach the deputy president. We don't need 11 grounds. the deputy president holds an office of the highest, or actually the highest office in land, because he is the principal assistant to the president. That is one office as per our constitution, and therefore it is the highest office in land. This office is required to be a symbol of national unity as per our constitution. Just one ground is enough. We are used to looking for hard evidence. Our constitution is very clear. Our constitution requires us to select leaders who represent us based on chapter 6. And whenever we miss that point, we will always have these issues. We cannot now start to say that the wealth, we cannot discuss the wealth of the deputy president, yet it has been in question even before he took over the office. It was in question even before he took over office. He was in prison for that. He was in jail for that. We cannot question that, but he was given a chance to become a deputy president. Yet, chapter 6, leadership and integrity, requires us to select leaders based on just basic integrity and leadership principles. And we have failed to do this, yet we complain later on. It is wrong. Right now, and I will borrow this from Martin Luther King. We are made by history. We have had a general election that has been annulled, and that is why matters IBC have been to very great concern in our country, because we had an annulled general election. If we have a deputy president impeached, that is history. It will make us, the next person coming to hold that office will know how to conduct themselves. When we have an impeached deputy president, we are just one step closer to having an impeached president. It is one step closer to having an impeached president, which is something that, a discussion that if you try today to discuss the impeachment of a president in our country, you are slaughtered in broad daylight. It is such a sensitive matter to discuss. No member of parliament in this parliament will ever try, even those who voted, the 44 who voted against the impeachment of Gachagua, who support Gachagua, none of them will try to bring that motion. I promise you, because it has always been perceived to be a very sensitive issue in our country. But with the impeachment of a deputy president, we are a step close to achieving this. We only need to ensure that our constitution does not want us to talk about things, corruption, on a leader like a deputy president. Because before we give a leader like a deputy president a chance, or a member of parliament, or an MCA, we need to scrutinize them based on chapter 6. But even so, we ignore some very fundamental articles in our constitution. For example, Article 10, that talks about national values and principles of governance. Basic principles of governance. I'm landing with Peter, thank you. Basic principles of governance: human dignity, patriotism, national unity. We miss those. If you go to Article 73, responsibility of this leadership, these leaders that we give opportunities, they are supposed to be servants of the people, not bosses. But we're having bosses. These are articles that all these leaders are violated. And just based on that, even before talking, without talking about corruption, these are grounds of impeaching these people. Because that is all leadership is about as per our constitution. Therefore, whenever this process has gone through, let it go through. I support it. And I look forward to a day when we'll have an impeached president. Let us not beat our chest here, because this has been the issue we've had in this movement. We want the big wins, and we cannot get them the way you want them to be gotten. You have to face reality. You have to face the reality. We will not get there as the parliament is currently constituted right now. The president has already mobilized majority, and the president has whipped the members of parliament to impeach the deputy president. It is quite unfortunate that the members of parliament are whipped by the president. If we had the members of parliament work as per Article 95, they would have even reviewed the conduct of the president himself. The first person who should have been impeached, we all know, should have been the president. But it is the deputy president who has gone. Well and good. Let him go. From there, we'll chant our ways from there. Thank you very much. I rest my case.
All right. Thank you, the one and only Real Joe. I don't want to go beyond midnight. I will have burnout. I've been live since 10 a.m. streaming that speech. And I've also been here now giving you about 4 hours of submission just to hear from you. So tukwe considerate. Naona Gimuka ameinua mkono juu. I'm going to go to Gimuka and then Nyaradue and then I think Mr. I don't know. Ameenda huyo. Daniel. Aitwa Mr. Kilimani or something. Or Mr. Kilimanjaro. Waidhaka. All right. So Gimuka.
Let me go after Nyaradue.
Okay. And also reconnect your mic. I feel like it's imeenda mbali. Nyaradue.
Peter, it's Nyaraduen. Please pronounce that last N. Adue is something really, really.
Oh, adue ni kitu ingine different. Najua naweza kuwa naongea matusi kwa show bwana.
I just want to engage. My sister talked and told us, together with Juma, I think the last speaker, who just said, this is not our fight. By the way, if you look at my page, I'm the one who kept on joking like, this is not my war, and I'm not really getting involved. But now, I want us to look at the long-term effect. Let's not look at what happened today. Let's not focus on the war between Gachagua and Ruto and whoever. Let's not focus on the politicians. But I plead with us that we focus on what this is doing to the future Kenya. Assume Gachagua goes to Senate and he's impeached in Senate, and then he goes to court, and then the court upholds his case. What kind of country are we going to have? I want you to just picture that. 2 presidents, because Gachagua is now going to just stamp and feel like he is untouchable because the courts have upheld his appeal. And assume it is the other way around. Gachagua loses both the Senate and the court. And then there's this dictator we are going to create. And the dictator, we have seen what he has done so far. Let's look at police brutality. Let's look at him selling our land, as in tukiona. Si ati ata tumelala, tunaona na anauza Kenya. Can you people focus on who we are creating? Because what we have done at Parliament today is creating dictatorship. And this dictatorship is not only going to be here up at the national level, but it's also going to trickle down to the county governments, whereby the governor ataiba and the deputy cannot cough, cannot question, cannot do anything, because if the deputy tries to question, anaenda nyumbani. Impeachment, MCAs wako na njaa, wanapewa pesa hapo to impeach this guy, na wanaenda. The deputy goes. The same way with this deputy president who's going to be brought. You know, huyu ni kama hata kuwa hata na sauti, as in, yeah. You know, these offices without portfolio, you have an office there, but when it come a picture, just like you keep your kikombe in your, you know, your tray. Nothing, you can't do it. I want us to focus on the future of Kenya. And so those people who feel that this is not our war, those people who are where our wars, trust me, this is our war for the Kenya tomorrow, for our children's children. Because this land we live in is not ours. It is borrowed to us by our children's children. We are better off taking care of these issues now. We are talking about IEBC. You know, what we don't have at IEBC is commissioners. The office is intact. Enda kwa ofisi yako ya county. There's an IEBC office there. The clerks are there. The direct, what are they called? Returning officer or registration officer, whichever those officers, they are there. So what we don't have is commissioners. And if you read history books, I'm trying to drive to revolutionary mindset. If you read history books, that means the system is already in place. It is only the officers, the commissioners, the people who are missing in that IBC. Come with ballot boxes and ballot whatever, they are there. So there is no way we are going to use a faulty system to recreate a new Kenya. I don't know if you people are getting me well, but this is the oppressive regime. Even if we were to get an IBC today, trust me, what we are going to get is not anything different from this parliament, because we have seen how these people have failed us. But because the systems are already in place, let us push to use what we have. Let us not focus on what we don't have, because they are going to give us rots, just like what we have seen. And therefore, as much as we are saying that we should be happy that Gachagua is gone, we are done with one mistake. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. No, we are mistaken, because what we have done for the fit, this man is going to rule us with a fist. And trust me, ukikohoa unapotea unaenda kware. And we cannot allow such a dictator to rule us. If it was about being honest, I yield my mic. Sorry. Thank you.
All right, Nyaradwen.
I want to ask you a question.
Yes, Gimuka, you're back?
Yes, I'm back. Thank you once again for the opportunity. I agree with Gwen.
Mic yako iko off, iko chini, so I'd like you to request the mic again. I think you are having an issue with the mic. Yes, thank you so much, Nyaradwen, for that. Let me go again to Resk.
Yes, I want to ask a question to my sister there who have just spoken. That what makes you think that this is the right time to remove this dictatorship government from power? Is it because Rigiji is now out of power? Or is it because Ruto has fallen out of the mountain? Because you see, when Kenyans should work together, is something which is lacking at the moment. Because there was a point in which Uhuru himself told you about the evil of this regime, but people never said anything. It is the mountain, the Mulima, that pushed Ruto to be in power. Despite the voice of Uhuru, Uhuru was going to the mountain telling you that one day you will remember me. And that is what has happened. And do you know that there was a point when Raila called for Maandamano, and almost nearly 100 people died during that Maandamano? Was it not also time that was ripe for the Kenyans to fight against the dictatorship? So that is why we are seeing that the Kenyans, they are not united when it comes to this issue. When it is pushed by Raila, some people, they don't listen. When it is pushed by another one, people don't listen. But now, because Gachagua is gone, possibly now Kenyans can unite against each other. So that is why I'm asking you a question now. Why do you think it is this right time and not the other times when people were dying, when they were dying for Kenya?
Oh, on the space, guys, respect, lend discipline. My remove button here is faster than Speaker Wetangula's mute. Yeah, so kindly respect the space and don't jump in when somebody's speaking. I know how to mute. Wow. You know, guys, I have seen about 10 MPs wakimutiwa kama space. Okay, Mr. Speaker. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, Mr. Speaker. Hey. Yeah. Mute na nusu na alafu hizo mic za parliament ikiwaka red ndio uko on, so sijui ni kama ni wale macohost wale wenye wamevaa green ndo macohost wa weta, so wanakufinyia tu hapo kwa circuit breaker. Anyway, we have about 39 minutes to the top of the hour. I want to hear from Mr. Kilimanjaro Waithaka.
Thank you so much, Pepita. I'm going to pick up from where I think Nyaraduen left, she made a very good point whereby she said that on the matter of IBC. Before I go there, I'm going to start with why I think the opportunity of having this guy sent home was ideal. Because more or less we are looking at it from this as a political angle. And I think, like a lot of speakers are speaking here, and trying to call out, an activity, trying to mobilize people to do something. I think if we look at how the movement started, how the revolution started, and where it is right now, it is because it is lacking the political element. And in achieving some of the demands that are being laid out, I think the only means to do that is through politics. And that is why we should not have shunned about participating in the impeachment of the DP. This is something that actually the movement should have picked up and, fueled a political debate around, and even they would have actually done political rallies. We would have even done a Kamkunji rally, just to try and fuel that, because eventually some of these things are going to be attained through politics. If you remember, I think when Kenya was trying to just rule for the multi-party, Section 2A, repealing in the constitution, in the old constitution, that was achieved through a political, political whipping, political rallies, and a political process. I think this is more or less, and if we were to use that, it was also a political process. It was also a revolution. It is more or less similar to what is happening right now. So I would urge guys to consider doing or considering, using politics as a means to an end, to achieving some of these things. And now to more tie into what Nyaraduen said about the IBC. I don't think the IBC demand should be coming right now, because if it was to come right now, then what? And if these guys can actually bring in the people they choose, it doesn't really matter, because they are going to put the people who they can, more or less control. But the only way the movement can achieve having to participate in, the IBC selection process is through political whipping. Whip a lot of political emotions around the country, and then by the time the IBC constitution is being done, then at that juncture, the movement will have had a lot of political clout to even now dictate and demand for, placement of some individuals in the constitution of the IBC. I really support, the impeachment of this fellow. This guy would have he had an opportunity to redeem himself. But right now, I think he's going home, unfortunately for him. And unfortunately for him also is that if he's going to be impeached through the Senate and also the courts, unfortunately for him now, even he's going, that is more or less his exit from the political arena, which is very unfortunate, because had he resigned, he would have gotten an opportunity to participate in the 2027 electoral cycle, influence, muscle, whatever. So he had an opportunity to be, relevant politically. But right now, I believe with the impeachment, he's going home for real. It is a win for the movement. That is how I see it. It's only that we are not looking at things politically, which I think we should be. We should be thinking also how to strategically position and use some of these things that are happening politically, just to whip emotions and just to rally and the movement and keep the revolution going. I land. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Kilimanjaro. Your submission gets us to 11:26 East African time. Thank you so much for everybody who's tuned in. Weekend is a glucose. Hata mimi nimejikaza. Hebu piga hesabu kutoka 10 a.m. mpaka saizi. That is about 14-hour shift. Yeah. That's a 14-hour shift that I have been spending on the studio today. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what I'm doing, pale viju kuna tip line 0721948229. Drop any amount. Naona kuna mtu amekata 10 bob. Yeah, weka hapo hivi kwa hiyo. Inatusaidia kuweka internet, make sure that the stream has been seamless. Leo nimewapiga stream ya over 10 hours. Seamless. Yeah, ni kwa sababu ya support yenu pale hivi kwenye tipja. Yes. So sasa hivi wakati tunaendelea pia ingeni pale hivi ndani muangushe kitu. Ndo mweke motivation. Hata nipate ya mkate. I see the one and only Daniel again. Daniel Njoroge, talk to me.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
It's Daniel Njogu, not Njoroge.
Oh, sorry. Nimeona Njoroge, sasa I was like, okay, never mind. Tuendelee. Fatigue.
Yeah. I understand. Okay, about today, me kwangu, me sijafurahia because number one, hiyo parliament imetuonyesha they are just being controlled. They are not even listening to reason. Now, for those who are saying that it's a win for us as a movement, I beg to differ because kuondolewa kwa Gachagua has just made William stronger because sahi ataweka mwenye anataka, mwenye atamusikia, mwenye akisema jump ana jump, and he'll be controlling everything from parliament, from parliament to presidency. He has become a more dictator. So I think we should be focusing on how to remove this guy. Ruto is our target, and the win we'll get is when Ruto goes. Any other person who goes is not a win for us until Ruto goes. So I think that should be our main aim. Ruto venye atatoka. Kutoka kwa Gachagua haijatusaidia kitu. Hiyo imemfanya tu stronger. Na sahi unaona, sahi wako na motion, wanataka kujiongezea miaka 7 years. Na sahi he's very clever, he's doing that for the MPs. Juu anajua MPs wanaweza pitisha hiyo, and for his MPs and president 7 years. So how is that a win for us? Na unaona ABC hajaiweka. Why? Up to now, mbona hajaiweka? He has a strategy, and we have to come up with a plan to remove, to counter his strategy. That is all for now. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Njogu. Nimepata right, sasa, Njogu. And I'm also dropping the speakers as they speak so that by the time we get to the end of it, niko peke yangu niambie good night. Najua yuko raini ya kuweka mkono juu kila saa. So yes, thank you so much, Njogu. So make sure you get to the mic, you say everything until good night. Haya, let us go to Benzo. Habari yako, Benzo? Benzo, can you hear me? Justin Benzo. All right. I don't think Justin Benzo can hear me. All right. Let's hear from Shushu. Shushu.
Yes, Pipita.
Hebu tuambie mafano wides. Naona tuko kwa last 30 minutes nikalale.
Nataka nitoke nje kidogo kwa nini nauliza hii space sababu nilikuona tangu asubuhi up to now. Pipita, ingekuwa ni studio tunapiga simu, in fact hakuna mtu angeranda hapa 10 minutes. But hapa hii space imekuwa ni yetu. Tunakuja toa stress, tunakuja kupunguza hata pressure, na tunaiona ni mzuri. Kuna kitu umeweka tibja na namba ya simu. Sijui kama unakula lunch ama hii space ni ya government ama hii space ni ya NGO. Wewe unapata wapi pesa ya bundles? Ni kwetu sisi ama una njia nyingine unapata bundles? Ninauliza tu swali ya ujinga. Because mimi nauliza tu wale watu ambao wako kwa space. hiyo tibja waangalie hiyo tibja, hata kama ni shilingi 5, shilingi 10, waweke hapo so that uweze kukula. Tangu asubuhi nilikuwa nikifungua hivi space nikiwa kwa TV na kuona tu na watu wamenyamaza hapo wanasikiza kama radio. Lakini wewe unatumia bundles. Hata kama si tunatumia bundles, watu wanatumia bundles. In fact, kuna nyumba unalipa, una nini? So naomba wale watu wako kwa space. Unapata mtu ataingia kwa space around hapo kama 15 minutes, 20 minutes na drop. Lakini tibja hiyo, angalieni hiyo tibja, at least mweke kitu. Anthony Bonke, mimi mwenyewe nimejiweka nikasema mimi siku naingia hapa kwa hii space, na wewe ni shahidi yangu, siwezi weka less than 50 shillings sababu najua hii space inatumia bundles. Hii space imeanguka na sisi imeanguka naye karibu mara 3. Nasikia space inaanguka ikienda, maybe inaanguka sababu ya bundles. Huwezi rudi hapa kuambia, ni sisi wenyewe tujiambie tutoe at least something. Ingekuwa ni Citizen Radio mnapiga simu huko, singekuwa inakata nyinyi pesa kwa Safaricom. Sisemi hivyo ati kwa ubaya. Ukisikia unaweza toa, utoe. Ukisikia uwezi, kama unayo toa. Ujue Pipita ni kijana anafanya kazi hapo na ana nyumba ya kulipa na ananunua bundles. Wakati wewe unaingia kwa hii space, una run karibu 30 minutes, unarudi unatoka, umemwacha namna gani? Siku space itaanguka, mtatafuta space mkose. Mimi kabla sijaingia kwa hii space kila siku usisikiagi vizuri. Inanifurahishaga sana na inatufunza mambo mengi sana. Saizi nani anapiga radio kwa simu kwa radio huko? Unajua ni credit itakula. Sasa hata hapa wacha tuangalie mambo ya Pipita. At least kama una kitu hata ukiingia daily weka 50, weka 20. Tukiwa watu 400 hapa. Tuseme leo sisi tuko watu 400. 50. Hiyo ni pesa ngapi? Itakuwa imesustain Pipita kidogo, at least aende akule hata kama ni sukuma wiki. Anaishi kwa Fuliza. Nimeland.
Oh yes, nilikuwa nataka niseme hivi before I even go any further, ladies and gentlemen. The only reason why I can tentatively open my space and drop names the way I want is because of the independence that this space has. Hatujaji align with any politician. We are not under any civil organization. NGOs tried to reach out at some point at the height of mambo ya finance bill. I said no, because I want to have a very independent voice for my spaces. So having said that, I put my responsibility with my listeners that wewe kama ni msikilizaji wangu and you like what I do, and you've seen the consistency, because I've run these spaces for now 1 year and 3 months. Yeah, 1 year and 3 months every weekday, including holidays. Hata hiyo siku ya Thursday nyinyi mkikuwa holiday tutakuwa kazi. So if you like what I'm doing as the listener, just go inside that tip jar line and drop something. Hiyo ndo tunachanga kidogo kidogo, tunaweka kwa studio, at least tunahakikisha kila kitu inagopwa. Yeah, so I appreciate everybody who supports the show, and also wale wenye wanatusikiza tuna kutushare pia, that is also a good form of support. Na pia wale ma speakers, imagine bila nyinyi shushu ningekuwa naongea hapa 6 hours peke yangu. Yeah, so like today I've had to be up from 10:30. The space has been running. I think I'm going to be landing it at midnight, but I'll listen to the speakers who are currently on the panel so that we call it a night. Now, the real job, I'm going to do, and then I'll go to Nicholas, and then we under na wangu. The real job.
Thank you, Pipita. I just want to finalize a point up. I think Nyaraduen, you guys have talked so much about IBC, and you're also recognizing the fact that there's a motion on Parliament to increase the term limit of the president. I wish you guys read Article 255 of the Constitution. For there's some articles in this Constitution that for you to amend them, they must go for a referendum, and only IBC can conduct a referendum. So who needs the IBC more than us? It is them who need the IBC. The IBC will always be reconstituted. The country cannot run without IBC for a long time. Right now, it is just a topic that you've been given to discuss. We'd rather focus this on building on things like Adani, Chief. IBC will be reconstituted. They need that IBC more than we do, because they would want to. They need a referendum for them to pass the term limit of the president. Having said that, I also need to make my point clear. When I say that I am in support of the impeachment of the deputy president, I'm in support fully because I am convinced he has contravened our constitution. I don't really support the members of parliament. They are goons. I don't support them, but whatever they have done, they have done. This is what they're supposed to do even for the president. This is their role. Impeaching the deputy president, that is their role. It is not politics. It is their role. Article 95 gives them that role. So that is their role. They have performed their function. So there is no other thing. It is not politics. It is constitutional process. They have impeached the deputy president. That's constitutional. No court will overturn this. I tell you, I promise you. I can bet with you money. There is no court that is going to overturn this. The deputy president is principal assistant to the president. And actually, the deputy president has no function other than the function provided for them than with the president. Other than being principal assistant to the president can also give them some small jobs to do, like carrying files and doing other things. But the deputy president has no definite role that gives them any other authority. So even if he is supposed to survive, the court is supposed to save him, he will do nothing. The same thing Uhuru did to Ruto. He will do nothing, literally nothing. But no court is going to save Gachagua, because some of the things that are there on impeachment, including even insubordination, no court is going to pass that. That one I can bet with you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, the real Joe, for that. I want to go to Nicholas. Nicholas Abariako.
Mzuri sana,
Yes.
Peter. I hope you can all get me clearly.
Yeah, tunaweza kupata poa. Talk to us.
So I think for me, manze, I'm a very young spirited Kenyan. A first-year student in Kenyatta University. And I think there's so much that is happening in our country. And we can talk much, you can say much, but action is more better than words that you may say, but they remain not acted upon. Because there's much happening, so much. To a point where all the MPs or most of the MPs can be corrupted or given even money so that they impeach the deputy president. Although I'm not defending the deputy president, but to a point where all MPs can be, because those MPs, they have to have been paid something or given something, so for them to vote yes for the impeachment of the deputy president. And I think one thing that has been in Kenya since independence, this country is now, we are now celebrating 60 years of past 60 years of independence, but zero progress. So I think what has been eating Kenya since independence is corruption. From the times of Kenyatta, from the times of Moi, from the times of, at least when Kibaki was in, corruption was not that so much until Uhuru came in, and now we have Ruto. During Moi's era, KCC went down. Many companies went down. Even the energy system went down. So that akina Moi and Biwott waweze kupata njia zingine za kuleta Kenya wanataka for their own benefit. Now we had Uhuru, he did what he did, but at least for him it was better. And then now we have Ruto, who pretends to be the advisor of his advisors. He can be told nothing, and no one can advise him. It's so painful that even he's trying to torment those of us who try to be more vocal and be real and express their heartfelt pain of what they see Kenyans are going through. But for him, he doesn't care. What he cares is his stomach and those and those friends of him who are MPs and senators and governors, who they are stealing together. And I think this can only come to an end if all of us decide that come 2027, we make a new change. Any person who has been a leader, any person who has been in a government office should not go back to that position. And as young people, we take charge. Maybe go to those hizo places zoko ndani ndani huko mashinani, we go to those people, maybe talk to them, maybe educate them on things to do with government matters, election matters, kwa sababu wase wajui. Unajua watu wenye kuko mashinani, they are the people who these viongozi go there, they manipulate them, they tell them this, that, because it's easy for them to be manipulated. Hawana information kama venye sisi tuko nayo, but tukitoka saizi mapema for the better of tomorrow or for the better of future, tutoke sahi, we go and talk to those people, we go and make those people have information, so that even if they're manipulated in what way, they won't fall us in the trap that you are currently in, because it's a lot of pain. Education system imeharibiwa, watu huku shule hawana help, wanateta, students are suffering, some students are sleeping in anger because help is a come in the name of one person, William Samuel Ruto. MPs, all of them are assonants, all of them are goons. We have no leader to defend us, we have no leader who can speak for us. We are the leaders ourselves. And unless us ourselves we act, there's no one who can act in our charge. Hakuna msee, na hadi tukiogopa, nothing will happen. Hakuna kitu ita happen. Tutashtuliwa, tuambiwe nini, we be intimidated, tuogope, and hiyo ni furaha ya Ruto na kina Itumbi na marafiki zake, so that they can oppress us in a more better way. But we should not accept that. Kenya belongs
1
to all of
minute.
us. Kenya is ours. We were born in Kenya. We have no other country. It's upon us to change Kenya. It's upon us to act, manze. Kama ma youth, manze, to act. It's so painful. Our part,
1
manze,
minute, Nicholas, to
pale
land.
wazazi wameandikwa na gava, au wazazi wako na insurances zao za health na bado wanalipa NHIF. Hii pesa NHIF inaenda wapi? Like, corruption is the root of everything in this nation. And it's upon us to act, it's upon us to do things differently as the youth. Manze, it's painful, manze, it's painful.
Asante, Nicholas, for that.
Manze,
I want to go to the next one. Weunda Amos. Thank you, Nicholas, for your submission. Weunda. Aitwa Weunda. Mna
Hello,
majina?
guys.
Yes, ni Weunda.
Hello guys, ni ajeni.
Poa.
Hope you are all doing well. Mi chenye ningeweza kusema maybe on my own view, like ukiangalia venye hii gava iko history na impeachment, maybe venye na happen hivi, tukumbuke hapo nyuma kumekuwa na hii deal ya Adani. So maybe what are your views according to hii impeachment na then hiyo deal ya Adani venye ilikuwa hapo nyuma? Yeah, mwoni ni kama kuna venye tunaweza kuwa tunachezwa, then hiyo deal inaendelea, ama nyi mnaonaje? Then hao viongozi venye wanaendelea kufanya hivi bana, venye tumeshika hivi vote, sisi kama majenzi tuamke hiyo 2027. I think we should do a thorough clean up, tutoe hao viongozi, ama nyi mnacheki aje?
Yeah, make your submission, Baba. We can't make it interactive like that. Just make a submission. All right. Thank you for that. Let me go to the second last submission before I call it a night. Wangu wa Makeri, how are you doing?
Niko sawa Pepita. Nice. Oh, what a day. I've been following in and out. And asante for being here for us to be able to follow up. Oh, yeah. Well, Rigathi was impeached. I mean, what did we expect? At this point, tunajua, wabunge wote, they don't answer to us. They just answer to the executive. And I think it's clear now. The funniest thing is the debrief from Watu wa Mrima after tonight. I'm just laughing to friends and family that I know back home that are just like, oh, wow, now he wants to sort of make sure that he sort of gathers all the power that he can get to remain as powerful as he can be. Thank God we have a constitution, 2010 constitution that's not the same as during Moi era. If that was the case, my goodness, we'll be still in a worse situation that we are now. I think it's time. It's time that we focus on the issues, as we keep saying on this platform, because I think we get swayed so much kama wananchi, tunapelekwa hivi na hivi. I mean, zile vituko za leo to a point where I think there was a done hearing or something. I can't remember, but we didn't even give it as much attention as it should have, considering that that's what's going to affect us kama wananchi more than that even Rigiji. I mean, I'm not sorry that he's gone. I mean, I'm not crying. He is as guilty as the rest of them, and I have no apologies for that. The only thing is now we need Ruto to go. That's what we need to do. We need to see, and it's not going to be easy. Sababu hawa watu wote wamenunuliwa, they are singing his songs. So Mungu atusaidie hapo. Lakini we still need to use the platforms that we have to sort of put our points across. To see nini, the knee should be on their neck mpaka we see something tangible. Hakuna mtu mwingine atatubadilishia nchi, ni sisi tu. Na asante Pipita, keep going. Wacha ninunue chai leo.
Asante. Nita appreciate bwana. Huko hivi kwa tip ja kumekauka wadau. Anyway, it's what it is. Finally Western Shilao amepata nafasi ya kuingia. Thank you so much everybody who has found a chance to talk to us today. It is quite an honor, ladies and gentlemen, to listen to you. It has been a long day. Wow. Na kesho bado saa 10 mnaningojea hapa. Wow. Yeah, but every weekday from 4 p.m. mnatupata tu hapa tukifanya kazi, tukiongelesha. Yeah, so consistency is what we are all about, and of course what I'm hearing from Wangu is we need to be consistent, and that is, it starts with the forums like this. If we keep quiet in this fora, then people will lose it. So yeah, I want to end the last 10 minutes of this show with Western Shilaho. Western, I think after you I'm not going to take anybody else unless there's a rebuttal or something. But yeah, I want to end it from Western. Western, if you can hear me, take it away, man. Western, are you there? Hello?
This is the Home Run with PP.
Bwana Shilaho, are you there?
How are you?
I'm good. Kidogo nikurushe nje bwana.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
Fatigue ndo mingi ndugu yangu, lakini nothing
fatigue.
a shower and sleep can't sort.
You've earned your stripes. Peter, I did tell you, I salute your listenership and you. I did tell you that this parliament will impeach Gachagua. It was a foregone conclusion. And his press conference yesterday didn't help matters. You'd ask why his legal advisors, allowed him to go public like that on the eve of this vote and successfully shoot himself in the foot. Well, they didn't blunder because they were into politics, not in the legal aspects of the entire thing. It was not about truth, it was about politics. And I think in that sense, they succeeded because listening to, sentiments on your platform, he succeeded in earning a lot of sympathy. And for a politician, that goes a long way. It goes a long way. Can easily be turned into political capital at some point. But, Peter, I want to make it abundantly clear that William Ruto, it doesn't really matter whether you like him or you don't like him and stuff like that. It's very unpopular as we speak now. That's factually correct. But he's going to go down in history as one of Kenya's consequential presidents. Consequential. And when you're a consequential leader, it doesn't mean you've done good things. You could also do bad things. Adolf Hitler is a consequential person. You can't forget about him. He's not going to be forgotten. George Washington in the US, a consequential person. Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore, consequential person. Paul Kagame in Rwanda, consequential. So it depends on what you do. In his case, he will be. And I think it's just started. Going forward, he's likely to be a lot more ruthless than he has been in the past. And therefore, his opponents have their work cut out. They cannot afford to slacken, especially as far as political strategy is concerned. They can't afford. They cannot afford to succumb to laxity. There will be no room for that. Which why I'm very skeptical about people who are talking about 2027 elections. I don't think he's going to lose that election. I don't think he's going to lose it. And I put it like that irrespective of the current political happenings, which could actually have a bearing on the outcome of 2027 elections. Yeah, there are people who, from now henceforth, it doesn't really matter what he does. They'll wait for that day and not vote for someone, but vote against him. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy to get rid of him. Why do I say this? I say this because his immediate predecessors, Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta, were less politically savvy compared to him. Less politically savvy. Less. People say, no, Uhuru was wise, he didn't impeach William Ruto. No, it was not a choice. He didn't have a pathway to that kind of thing. He did not have it. He didn't have the numbers. And therefore, he couldn't impeach him successfully if he wanted. He couldn't have won, the battle in the court of public opinion. He could not have won.
which means you take him to court and you charge him, and therefore you disqualify him from running for president. He could not have won the backlash. So he chose to play it safe and hope that by the time elections were held in 2022, he would be so politically damaged that he wouldn't stand a chance to win. Of course, it backfired. William Ruto is not going to allow that in his backyard, people who have the capacity to stand up to him. I think the protests on the streets, this movement, and we people on this platform, I think in his understanding, that is sufficient opposition. He will not tolerate opposition in his backyard going forward. So I think that's crystal clear. It's either if you are in his backyard, you play by his script, or you ship out, and he defines you as one of his opponents, and therefore you meet in the battlefield. I think that is abundantly clear. Secondly, Pipita, when I last spoke, when the voting was going on, one of your listeners called Ras. Pipita, I don't get it really. If you're so disdainful of women, I'm not so sure what kind of justice you're fighting for. Or if you're disdainful of anybody, I'm not so sure what kind of justice you're fighting for. Of what Kenya is this that you believe in when you think a deputy president can, openly refer to, members of parliament, female members of parliament as prostitutes, and you think that's correct? That's correct. Like, I'm not so sure what kind of Kenya you're fighting for. Honestly, we call to question your commitment to a better Kenya and a functioning Kenya. Honestly, we're a movement that has got no room for prejudice, for misogyny. Somebody's mic, Pipita, is open. I have sorted it. Okay, good, thank you. A movement that has got no room for misogyny, has got no room for ethnic bigotry, has got no room for classism. You get me? It has got no room for snobbery. You're a snob. You think that if you associate with people of high class, that's the only thing you do. People of low class, they're not of use to you. We can't have that kind of a movement. So these people who come to your platform, Pipita, and say, no, where's the evidence that the deputy president referred to a politician as a prostitute? What evidence are they looking for? What evidence are they looking for? Has he come forward and repudiated that claim, that allegation? It's been around for quite a while, has he? He's not. He is not. So what is the inference? He did use it. Why do we think in Kenya, if you hold a particular position, you have got free rein to behave as you wish? You can break all rules. You can break all norms. You can break all values. And your supporters will find justification as to why you behaved so primitively. What kind of a society is that? I dare ask. What is it? And then somebody tells us that Atienda Omolo is like Oscar Sudi because he supported the impeachment motion. Like, what is that? Like, what does that even mean? Instead of us engaging with the salience of the arguments he's raising, we just dismiss him as Oscar Sudi. What kind of a society is that? Okay, let's say he had spoken in favor of Rigathi. Would that person who is dismissing as liken him to Oscar Sudi? But what is it about Oscar Sudi? I dare ask also. Oscar Sudi is just somebody who is corrupt, like even people who have got PhDs in Kenya and are corrupt. Honestly. So what is it about him that we think this is, the lowest that we can ever get? Now, there are people with PhDs in that parliament, in the bureaucracy, in the cabinet. But when you look at them, how they behave, their pronouncements, their decisions, you say this person has never stepped in a classroom. So that's the classism I'm talking about, Pipita. Classism, where you think a person doesn't amount to anything because they don't know book. But in our society, we know there are very many people who don't know book because of limiting circumstances within which they were born. So it's not a choice.
It was not a choice. Somebody didn't finish high school. It wasn't a choice. Somebody didn't go to college. It was not a choice. So you don't use that to stigmatize people. That's classism. That's prejudice. We cannot afford to have that in our ranks. We can't. Everybody on board. And when you talk about we want a Kenya that functions for everybody, we want a Kenya where there's opportunity to go to school. You won't be locked out of school because your parents can't afford. You'll go to school. You'll go to school, get education, and have a fighting chance in life. But we're talking about poverty, we're talking about corruption, we talk about all sorts of things. But then when we meet victims of these things, we stigmatize them. How counterintuitive is that? How counterintuitive is that? We stigmatize them as if it's their choice. The other day, somebody was saying, no, these goons who appeared at Bomas of Kenya, they must continue staying in slums. Like, what kind of a sentiment is that? We want to eliminate those kind of things. You know, those hovels, those shacks. We want to dignify everybody in this country. You are dignified. You live in a decent house as a human being. There's sanitation. There are flush toilets. There's potable water. So what Kenya are we fighting for? I don't get it when I listen to some of the sentiments that go around. And Rigathi is not a victim, Pipita. He's not a victim. He isn't. Let me use the analogy of a star witness. Those things that he's confessing, oh, Adani, I don't know what else was he saying. Those things that he's saying. People have stashed money abroad. We know people have stashed money abroad. Uhuru Kenyatta was implicated in Pandora Papers. And he promised to make a pronouncement as far as that is concerned. We're still waiting until the grass has started growing under our feet. Yeah? So he's not telling us anything new. We know there's corruption in this government. We know people have offshore bank accounts. We know the deals, shoddy deals vis-a-vis the airport. He's not telling us anything new. He isn't. So he can be a star witness if he chooses. But as was it Atiendo Molo who said, we forgive you, but that doesn't mean you are going to escape retribution. Yeah, those are two different things. I forgive, we forgive, but you must face retribution. You must be punished. So if your core, thugs, you're part of a heist, this was a syndicate, you have decided to strike what they call a plea bargain with the prosecutor for a lesser sentence. So if these other characters will be locked up for 20 years, you're going to get 10. It's not like you're going to walk. If they're going to be locked up for 100 years, you're going to get 50 for cooperating and confessing and saying the things that you witness. But we think that if you confess, then you walk. No, you don't walk. That element of punishment is important. It doesn't mean Rigathi now is telling us the things that are happening under this government, and therefore he's our hero. He's clean. No, he must face the music. He must face the music. He was party to that syndicate. So there are a lot of things that this impeachment has exposed. In other societies, such momentous occasions provide room for societies to hold an honest conversation about themselves. Honest conversation. Where are we going? Where are we coming from? What are our value systems? But in our case, we dissolve into some very parochial, enclaves, parochial enclaves. And then our positions, they're hardline-like. We are like Talibans. You don't change your position. Even when evidence is adduced, you don't change your position. You maintain it. Even when they say, no, like the things the deputy president said, some of them amount to, self-incriminatory. He's incriminating himself. You are either hiding behind your late brother's estate as a cover-up for what people think are dubious, illicit, accumulation of property and money and stuff like that, or you have disinherited your brother's family. Either way, That can't be something that a normal society can find exemplary in a leader, either way. But here we say, no, there's no evidence here. This is witch hunt. How these people are jealous. No, even these people are corrupt. Okay. So people come to your home, they break into your house, God forbid. They break into your house, you arrest one of them. You say, no, this one of them will walk. I want all of them. There were 5. I must get 5 of them first before they go before a court of law. Is that how we behave? Even in normal, life. There was a gang that broke into your property. You managed to arrest 2 of them. Do you let the 2 walk around scot-free until you arrest all of them? Is that how it works? And does it mean if you arrest that one or those 2, you, by implication, are saying that the rest are honest, they're innocent? You're not saying that. Their time will come. So this argument that these people must go, okay, I'm not so sure where that comes from. I want the argument that the allegations against the deputy president can't pass the muster. He hasn't violated the constitution. I want that. That's the argument we want to have. No, he has not. But what do? No, both of them must go. Well, that's not an argument, Pipita. It's not an argument. When you speak like that, you speak at cross purposes, so that we can spend 30 minutes, but we're not having a conversation. Because you say your own things, I say my own things. And the things I say are not in any way related to what you're saying. And what you're saying, not in any way related to what I'm saying. That's not a conversation. Those are fallacies. And we're doing that a lot. Atienda Mall again deconstructed this, motif about Dereva and Makanga. What did he say? Dereva and Makanga, there are passengers in that vehicle. There are passengers there. If it's a matatu or a bus, there are passengers there. So you want the bus to crash? Okay. The analogy is the Kenyan society. That's what it means. It's the Kenyan society. So you want Dereva akufe, Makanga akufe, na Wakenya wakufe pia. You get it? He deconstructed that, this phrase that is flying all over the place. You want everybody else to perish? For what? When you can exercise, people would want to sing Kenyans and isolate them. Why do you want everybody else to perish? Pipita, for me, about corruption and what have you, everybody almost in the Kenyan's establishment, in one way or another, has engaged in graft. For me, I parted ways with regard on the question of ethnic mobilization. That's a no-no for me. It's a no-no. It's a no-no. Once you start mobilizing on the basis of ethnicity, on the basis of religion, on the basis of clan, on the basis of region, you're actually no more than a genocidaire. That's how I characterize you. Any politician who hinges his politics on that basis is a genocidaire. He's in the same league as Slobodan Milosevic, same league as Juvenal Habyarimana in Rwanda, same league as Adolf Eichmann or Hitler. Yeah, same league. And many other people who preside, Pol Pot in Cambodia, preside over mass atrocities. That is how it begins. I can't stand you. I can't stand you. I can't stand you. I cannot. I can't. I don't stand that. Because I know what it means when a country is balkanized along those lines, along those fault lines. It's messy. It can be messy because people become guilty, not because they've committed any crime, just because of who they are. You are affiliated to this ethnic group. By that very fact, you are guilty. You either deserve to be killed or you deserve to live. It is that barbaric. You, by the mere fact that you are affiliated to this religion, you either deserve to live or you deserve to die. It's that barbaric. And here is a deputy president who says, no, you deserve prosperity depending on your political choices. Like, how can you tolerate somebody like that? How can you even have sympathy or empathy for somebody like that? How? I mean, In good conscience, I can't appreciate that. I cannot. I can't. And therefore, I've not been mobilized by ODM, because there's those who are saying, no, ODM members of parliament have been mobilized. I've not been mobilized by ODM. I don't belong to that party, or any party for that matter. I've not. But I share the sentiment of those who took to the floor of the House and argued that the deputy president must be impeached, and indeed went ahead and impeached him. So why do people think that some Kenyans cannot have views of their own? When they argue in one way or the other, it must be because he belongs to ODM or belongs to UDA, or this person is a Luo, or this person is a Kikuyu, or this person is a Kalenjin, or this person is a Luya, or a Kamba. Why do people think you reduce somebody to the least common denominator? That there's just one single identity that defines who you are. Is that really the kind of society we want to build? We can't. People have agency. People have got brains. People think. But once we're immersed in bigotry, we deny those people that element of complexity. We reduce them to the commonest denominator. You're speaking like this because you're a member of ODM. You are speaking like this because of your ethnic affiliation. You are speaking like this because of the religion you belong to. Like, how can we be such a society? We can't. If we want, then we can join Taliban in Afghanistan. These are people who don't tolerate any form of dissent, complexity, independence of mind. They don't tolerate that. There's always this monolithic way of doing things defined by the Taliban. Do you want that kind of a society? Of course we don't. So people must be free on this platform, Pipita, to express themselves. If you think that Raila Odinga has got redeeming qualities, be free and say, we want to listen to you. We can't poo-poo you. If you think that Silvanus Osoro has got redeeming, tell us, let's listen to you. But we cannot shut down conversations. We can't do that. That's extremely dangerous. It's too radical for a normal society, for debate to be foreclosed. And that's what we're doing. And I'm afraid if we continue doing like that, we're not going to get out of this morass. And because we can't get out of this morass, these politicians you're seeing in parliament, they'll continue loading it over us. That's the most unfortunate thing. This William Ruto here that is doing all sorts of things without consulting everybody, if we don't crank up our politics and embed it in values and principles, then he's not going anywhere. The most unfortunate thing, he's not going anywhere. Because he won't go because I'm saying he must go. No. He will go based on the decisions I'm making. And those decisions must cohere with decisions of other Kenyans who constitute a critical mass. So if that critical mass is not there, instead we have got opportunists, people who think, you can ride on the backs of other people to achieve your self-serving ends. Then he can't go anywhere. Before he realizes he's going to buy those people, opportunists will be bought because they stand for nothing. They're going to be bought at a very critical juncture, and they leave you hanging there to dry. What do you do? Pipita, I hung. For me, this was a momentous occasion, historic. We have all sorts of problems as far as our democracy is concerned, but this is a shot in the arm of Kenya as far as democratization is concerned. And I applaud it, I celebrate it. And that doesn't mean I'm oblivious of the challenges we have. I am acutely aware of the challenges we have. Very monumental. But I don't lose sight of incremental celebrations, incremental victories. I embrace them and I celebrate them. Even if I'm the only person who is doing it, I'll celebrate them. I yield, Pipita. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Western Chilaho, for that submission. I would like to say, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call it a day or a night here, because I've been live for the past 14 hours. The last time I was live this long, it was when I was doing 24-hour shows. But yes, it has been quite a momentous 2 days, very historic. We could not go without talking about them. The Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Geoffrey Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, has been impeached today by the National Assembly. Still, there's a long way to go, so there's so much we're still going to be following up. Make sure you're following me so that you can also get this. And of course, I'll be going to Parliament throughout these proceedings just to tutakuwa tunatumia inaitwa Parliamentary Broadcast Unit, the one that they use to broadcast the Parliamentary broadcasts. And we will be streaming them here so that you can also listen to them while you're also working and also have informed conversations at the end of it all. So so there's a lot of things you're following up on, and of course you'd like us to be factual. Most of the times watu wanatakanga kuongea tu kukasirikia mtu. But it's also good to say some things that you're also factual about. Ningependa kusema asante sana kwa wale ambao wamefollow Home Run with Pipi. Asante sana wale wenye wamesubscribe to our channel on my pinned tweet. Thank you so much, and also those who has followed me. Home Run with Pipi is a social conversation platform. It has been running for the past 1.5 years now, and we are just getting started. We're building it into our better, bigger media conglomerate, kitu kama hiyo. Tunasaidiana kutengeneza space yenye inasaidia sisi wote kukuwa na ability ya kuongea free speech bila kuogopa. Yes, I hope we never lose this. It's good. So kwa wale ambao wanapenda kazi yetu, of course there's a tip line 0721948229, account name Anthony Boke. You can drop any amount. Naona watu wameweka pale hivi 30 bob, 10 bob, 20 bob. Weka yenye unaweza to support this word. And of course, asante sana pia wangu, nimekuona pale hivi ndani. Thank you so much kwa kila mtu ambaye anaingiza pale mkono kusupport your show. It's not easy but there to run these things. Yeah, and sometimes when you try to speak, you really get a lot of backlash. So there's a lot. Anyway, I'm feeling my back is going crazy. Ni masaa ya bachelor kwenda kujinyorosha, kuoga, alafu nilale so that tomorrow is still back here. Hi. I don't know when I catch breaks, by the way. This week is going to be crazy. But we must keep on toes. Western Shilao always says that we cannot say that we can only tackle one thing while they are doing all of them. So you have to focus your mind in everything, and that is it. Saturday, I'm going to read this one. Mukura said, we don't have an opposition to keep government in check. Anyone who tries to raise a finger will have it rough. This should worry Kenyans very much. As much as Gachagua is not a likable character, it is not proper for Parliament to gang up against him. That is quite a submission. Asanteni sana kwa wale ambao wametune in. Tomorrow we'll be back here at 4 p.m. again for more conversation on Home Run with PP. Make sure by follow so that you can get the notification. Of course, nimerealize kuna watu wanashindwa kunipata. I'm going to ask with others, consult with other space hosts how they're doing it. But I see like 12 requests that I could not accept. So sijui ni nini inaendelea haswa. It's like people are fighting our spaces as well, or so kuna hiyo. But yote 9-10 ni kwamba kila weekday saa 10 mpaka saa 3, 4 to 9 p.m. you have a drive show to join. Napenda sana, tumekuja a long distance and I'm very happy that we are here now. And of course you have a journey series with one called Grace Olwande. I'm going to leave you with the trailer.
Because these individuals are weak. They lack the mental fortitude to withstand or even to understand. You are getting just people out of nowhere. You've not vetted.